Tonight, there is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to follow, and nothing you need to understand. Only a quiet space, slowly forming, gently settling, exactly as it is. You can let your body soften, just a little. Let your shoulders drop, without effort. Let your breath slow, without trying to control it. Inhale. Slow, easy. Exhale. Longer, softer. There is no need to hold on to anything from the day. No need to carry thoughts forward. They can pass, gently, without resistance. The night does not ask anything from you. It does not expect you to stay awake. It does not expect you to follow a story. It simply allows you to be here, resting, drifting, unfolding slowly. Around you, there is a stillness, not empty, not silent in a sharp way, but full, soft, complete. The kind of quiet that settles beneath everything. You don't need to see anything clearly. You don't need to imagine anything perfectly. Everything can remain soft, undefined, distant. Your breath continues, slow, steady, effortless. Inhale and exhale. And with each breath, the edges of the day become softer, further away, less important. Nothing needs to happen next. Nothing needs to begin. And when you're ready, without effort, without intention, you may simply notice that you are already there. You begin to move, not because you have decided to move, not because there is somewhere waiting ahead of you, but because your body shifts, slowly, gently, as if carried forward by something quieter than thought, something softer than intention. And your foot lowers, carefully, until it meets the ground beneath you, the surface smooth, worn, softened by time and quiet passing. And as your weight settles, the movement continues, naturally, without effort, without urgency, without direction. The path beneath you is narrow, but not restrictive, not confining, only guiding, just enough to hold your steps in place, just enough to carry you forward, without asking for your attention. Its edges lined with low wooden structures, their shapes resting in shadow, still, quiet, as though they have been here for a very long time, unchanged, undisturbed, untouched by anything that would require them to be different. Lantern light glows softly along the path. Small, warm, contained, each one hanging gently from wooden beams. Their light steady, never sharp, never demanding, only present, only existing, creating small pools of warmth that fade slowly into darkness, one after another, forming a rhythm that does not need to be followed, but is felt, quietly, deeply, without thought. You pass one lantern and then another, each one appearing softly in front of you, and then slipping behind you just as gently. Their glow never chasing you, never pulling you forward, only marking the quiet passing of space. Not time, never time, because here, time is not something that moves, it is something that rests, something that stays still. Your steps remain soft, almost silent, the ground receiving them without resistance, without echo, as if sound itself has been softened, absorbed, dissolved into the stillness around you, leaving nothing behind, no trace, no interruption, only the faint awareness that movement is happening without disturbance, without consequence. The air is calm, resting lightly against your skin, neither warm nor cold, neither heavy nor thin, simply present, balanced, steady, as if the night itself is holding everything in place, keeping everything exactly as it needs to be, without asking, without changing. Wooden beams rise along the path, their surfaces smooth, aged, carrying textures that reveal themselves only briefly, only softly, when touched by lantern light, before fading again into shadow. Nothing sharp, nothing defined, only gentle edges and quiet form. Shapes that do not need to be understood, only passed, only noticed in the softest way. You continue forward, your pace slowing without intention, your steps becoming lighter, quieter, as if the space itself is guiding you. Not forward, not anywhere, but into stillness, into softness, into something that feels like rest, without ever needing to stop. A doorway appears beside you. Simple. Wooden. Slightly darker than the walls around it, its interior resting in deeper shadow, offering nothing, asking nothing, holding no detail, no movement, no reason to pause, and so you pass it, without curiosity, without question, because there is nothing here that needs to be explored, nothing that needs to be understood. The path bends, gently, almost without notice. Not a turn you choose, not a direction you follow, but a quiet shift, a soft unfolding, as if the space itself is adjusting around you, guiding your steps without asking for awareness, without needing your attention. Lanterns continue, evenly spaced, steady, unchanged, their glow constant, neither growing nor fading, only existing, only present, marking space without marking anything else, holding the quiet exactly where it is. Your breath slows, naturally, effortlessly, not something you control, not something you guide, but something that begins to soften on its own, as if your body is remembering something simple, something steady, something that has always been there. Inhale, slow, quiet. Exhale, slower, softer. The rhythm settles, deepens, becomes part of everything around you, part of the lantern light, part of the wooden beams, part of the path beneath your feet. Everything moving together, without movement. Everything resting together, without stillness needing to be forced. The structures beside you begin to open slightly, not suddenly, not noticeably, but gradually. The space widening, the air expanding, the path releasing its narrow hold, allowing more space to exist around you, more space for the quiet to settle. Your steps slow even further, not stopping, never stopping, but becoming softer, lighter, as if the ground beneath you is no longer something you step on, but something that receives you, gently, without weight. Another lantern passes, and then another, their glow softer now, more distant. The darkness between them deepening, stretching, widening, creating longer spaces of shadow, longer spaces of quiet, where nothing needs to be seen, nothing needs to be understood. Your breath continues, steady, slow, effortless. Inhale, exhale, the night remains unchanged, holding everything in place, holding you in place, without holding, without pressure, without expectation, and without noticing when it happens, without marking the moment, without any clear transition. The path beneath you widens, the structures fall slightly away, and you step, quietly, gently, into a more open space. The courtyard rests quietly before you, wide, still, open in a way that does not invite movement and does not resist it. Simply existing, simply holding space without direction, without expectation. The ground beneath you smooth, uninterrupted, carrying no pattern that asks to be followed, no detail that asks to be understood. Only a soft surface that receives the faint lantern light, drifting gently across it. The air feels different here. Not heavier, not lighter, but more spacious, as if the quiet has been given more room to settle, more room to exist without boundary, surrounding you without pressure, without weight, without any sense that it needs to change. Lanterns hang at the edges of the courtyard, their glow softer now, more distant, no longer guiding, no longer marking a path, only resting at the boundaries, as if holding the space gently in place, their light barely reaching the center, leaving most of the courtyard wrapped in a calm, even shadow. You step forward not because there is somewhere to go, not because there is anything waiting ahead, but because the movement continues, carried from before, carried softly, without decision, without intention. Your foot lowering, your weight settling, your body shifting forward, one slow step at a time. Each step feels quieter here, softer, as if the open space absorbs even more of your presence, even more of your movement, leaving nothing behind, no echo, no trace, no disturbance, only the continuation of stillness. There is no center you need to reach, no direction that feels more important than another. The courtyard does not guide you, does not shape your movement, it simply allows it, without response, without change. The lantern light remains at the edges, steady, unmoving, their glow neither pulling you outward nor drawing you in, only existing, only present, creating a boundary that feels gentle, distant, almost unnecessary. Your breath continues, slow, even, effortless. Inhale, soft, quiet. Exhale, slower, deeper. The rhythm settles further, becoming part of the space itself, not separate from it, not something happening within you, but something happening everywhere, at the same time, in the same way, without variation. A faint sound begins to reach you, not clear, not defined, not something that demands attention, but something that exists beneath the quiet, like a memory of movement, resting gently beneath the stillness. Water. You do not turn toward it immediately. There is no need, no pull, no urgency, only the awareness that something is there, somewhere beyond the edges of the courtyard, somewhere beyond what is seen. Your steps continue, slow, unbroken, your movement unchanged, as if the sound itself does not alter anything, does not shift your direction, only exists alongside you, quietly, steadily. The sound becomes slightly clearer, not louder, not closer, like something that has always been there, but is only now being noticed. A soft, continuous flow, without beginning, without end. You reach the far edge of the courtyard, though it does not feel like an edge, only a subtle change in the space, where the open ground meets another narrow path, where the stillness remains exactly the same, unchanged, undisturbed. A low wooden structure stands beside the path, its form simple, unadorned, its surface resting in shadow, revealing nothing beyond its presence, offering nothing beyond its quiet stillness. You pass it, without pause, without thought, because there is nothing here that requires attention, nothing that needs to be held onto, nothing that needs to be remembered. The path carries you forward again, gently, naturally, without asking, without guiding, only continuing, only existing beneath your steps. The sound of water becomes slightly more defined now, not stronger, not louder, but closer, as if the space itself is narrowing around it, bringing it into quiet focus, without changing its nature. You begin to notice a subtle shift in the air, a softness, a coolness, not sudden, not sharp, but gradual, like a gentle change that has always been happening, unnoticed, until now. Lanterns appear again, fewer now, spaced farther apart, their glow softer, more contained, leaving longer stretches of darkness between them, longer stretches where nothing needs to be seen. Your steps slow even further, almost to stillness, not stopping, never fully stopping, but becoming so soft, so light, that the movement itself feels distant, almost separate from you. Inhale, exhale. The sound of water continues, steady, unchanging, a quiet flow that does not draw attention, but does not disappear, existing alongside everything else, without interruption. The path begins to shift slightly, not turning, not bending, but lowering, just enough that your steps follow it without awareness, without adjustment, your body moving with it naturally, as if the space itself is guiding you downward, gently, softly, without effort. And ahead, just beyond the next stretch of shadow, something begins to form, not clearly, not sharply, but softly, gradually. The stream rests quietly beside the path, narrow, steady, moving without urgency, without sound that interrupts, only a soft, continuous presence, as if the water itself has no destination, no beginning, no end, only a gentle movement that exists within the stillness, without changing it. You do not stop beside it, you do not lean closer, you do not follow its direction, because there is nothing here that asks to be followed, nothing that asks to be understood. The water moves, and you continue, each existing beside the other, without connection, without separation. The surface of the stream reflects only faint traces of lantern light, small, broken fragments of glow that stretch and shift across the moving surface, never forming a clear image, never holding still long enough to become something defined. Only soft distortions, gentle movements of light that appear and disappear without meaning. Your steps remain slow, steady, unbroken, The ground beneath you slightly cooler now, slightly softer, as if the presence of water has changed the space in a way that cannot be seen, only felt, only noticed in the quietest way. The air carries that same softness, a faint coolness that settles lightly against your skin, not sharp, not sudden, but gradual, like something that has always been there, becoming just slightly more present. Lanterns continue along the path, fewer still, spaced at greater distances. Air glows smaller, more contained, leaving long stretches of shadow between them. Long stretches where nothing is revealed, and nothing needs to be. You pass another lantern, its light brushing gently across the surface of the stream, touching the water for a moment, and then slipping away, leaving the darkness exactly as it was. The path begins to rise again, so gently that it does not feel like movement, only a subtle shift, a quiet return, or steps adjusting without awareness, without effort, as if your body already knows how to follow, already knows how to move without needing direction. The sound of water remains, steady, unchanged, neither growing nor fading, only continuing, only present, existing alongside your movement, without altering it. And slowly, without marking the moment, without noticing when it begins, the stream begins to fall away, not suddenly, not completely, but gradually, the sound softening, the presence fading, until it is no longer something you follow, no longer something you notice, only something that was there, and is now gone, without transition, without interruption. The path narrows again, gently, naturally, returning to the enclosed stillness of wooden structures, their forms rising beside you once more, their surfaces resting in shadow, unchanged, undisturbed, exactly as before. You step back into the corridor, though it does not feel like returning, only continuing, only moving through something that has always been here, waiting quietly, without needing to be entered, without needing to be left. Lantern light draws closer again, more frequent now, more present, their glow slightly stronger, though never bright, never sharp, only enough to soften the edges of the space, enough to reveal the quiet form of things without defining them. Wooden beams pass slowly beside you, their surfaces smooth, aged, carrying subtle textures that appear only when touched by light, and then disappear again, leaving nothing behind. Your steps remain soft, your movement unchanged, your pace steady, as if nothing has shifted, as if everything remains exactly as it was, even as the space changes around you. A doorway appears ahead, slightly open, its interior darker than the corridor, deeper, quieter, offering nothing, revealing nothing, only a stillness that feels slightly more contained. You do not hesitate, you do not decide, your steps carry you forward, through the doorway, without pause, without thought, as if the space itself has already made the movement for you. Inside, the air feels different again, not heavier, not lighter, but quieter, as if the sound itself has been softened further, reduced to something almost unnoticeable. The space is enclosed, but not confined, held gently by wooden walls that rise around you, their forms simple, unadorned, their presence steady, unchanged. Lantern light is softer here, more distant, reaching into the space without filling it, leaving most of the room resting in shadow, calm, undisturbed, complete. You move through it slowly, your steps barely felt, your presence barely held, as if the space does not resist you, does not respond to you, only allows you to pass, without effect. There is no object to observe, no detail to hold on to, nothing that draws your attention, nothing that requires it, only the continuation of quiet, only the continuation of stillness. Your breath remains steady, inhale, exhale, the rhythm unchanged, the pace unbroken, everything moving together, without movement needing to be noticed. You reach the far side of the room, where another opening waits, not brighter, not darker, only another space, another continuation, another quiet transition that does not need to be marked. And as you pass through, without pause, without awareness of crossing, the enclosed stillness begins to soften again. The air opens, the space widens, and the night begins to return. The night opens around you again. Not suddenly, not in a way that changes anything, but gradually, softly, as the enclosed quiet of the interior begins to release, and the air becomes wider, gentler, less held. Your steps carrying you forward without awareness of crossing from one kind of stillness into another. Because nothing truly breaks, nothing truly begins, only the shape of the quiet changes. The opening behind you softens into shadow, the wooden beams and dim lantern light of the enclosed space already fading, already becoming part of the stillness you have passed through. While ahead, the open air of the night rests quietly around you, broad, calm, unchanged. You find yourself once more within a wider space, not unfamiliar, not new, only open, only still, a place where the quiet is allowed to stretch farther, where the darkness rests without needing to be shaped by walls, where lantern light remains at a distance, soft, gentle, never sharp enough to disturb the calm. The ground beneath your feet is smooth, steady, even, receiving each step without sound, without echo, without any sign that you have moved at all, as if your presence leaves nothing behind, as if the space itself has no need to remember that you passed through it. Lanterns rest along the far edges, their glow faint now, more suggestion than light, small pools of warmth suspended in darkness, neither drawing you toward them nor holding you back, only existing, only marking that the night is not empty, only showing that stillness can be full, that quiet can have shape, that darkness can feel soft. You continue forward, though there is no destination, no center to reach, no reason to cross the space, only the continuation of movement that has already become gentler than thought, softer than intention, slower than choice. Each step arrives, settles, and fades, one after another, without urgency, without meaning, without anything to do but continue or not continue, because here it would not matter. The air rests lightly against your skin, neither cool nor warm in any way that asks to be noticed, only balanced, only present, only enough to remind you that the night is around you, holding everything in place without effort, without weight, without demand. Your breath continues with it. Inhale, soft, easy. Exhale, longer, quieter. The rhythm feels even deeper now, more settled, as if each breath has moved further away from effort, further away from awareness, until it belongs to the night as much as it belongs to you. The wide space around you remains unchanged, and yet within that unchanged stillness, something gently loosens. Not outside you, within you. A soft release, a quiet unfastening, as if the last small traces of the day, things too small to notice directly, things carried without knowing, are finally drifting away, one by one, not falling, not breaking, becoming less solid, less present, less necessary. Your shoulders soften a little more, your jaw eases, the space behind your eyes begins to quiet, and the need to think about anything at all becomes thinner, weaker, farther away. You do not need to help this happen. You do not need to follow it. It is already happening. The night is already carrying it. There is no task hidden here, no meaning tucked inside the silence, no scene you need to picture clearly. Everything can remain soft, undefined, distant, incomplete. The lanterns at the edges remain where they are, their glow steady, contained, untouched by your movement, untouched by time. The dark spaces between them feel longer now, deeper, as if the night itself has widened, allowing more room for the quiet to settle, more room for thoughts to loosen, more room for nothing at all. You slow even further, not because you choose to slow, but because there is less and less reason to move, less and less reason to continue, less and less reason to do anything but remain. Your steps become so gentle they almost disappear. The ground still receives them, but only barely, as if even movement itself is beginning to drift farther away. And then, without noticing exactly when, you stop, not as a decision, not as an arrival, not because you have reached anything, only because there is nothing left to do, nothing left to continue, nothing left to follow. The wide night remains around you, exactly as it is, steady, soft, undisturbed. A faint lantern glow rests at the edge of your vision. A line of shadow stretches quietly beyond it. The air holds everything in balance, and the stillness deepens without changing. You remain there, or perhaps you are already beginning to drift. There is no need to tell the difference. Your breath stays slow. Inhale, exhale, longer, softer. The quiet continues, not leading anywhere, not becoming anything, only continuing, only resting, only holding the moment open long enough for you to let go of it completely. Far away, perhaps beyond the walls, perhaps beyond the paths, perhaps somewhere you no longer need to imagine. There may still be water moving, softly, steadily, without sound that matters, without direction that matters. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to return to it. You do not need to think of any place at all, because the night is no longer around you in separate parts. No path, no doorway, no lantern, no courtyard, only one quiet, continuous softness, one unbroken stillness, one gentle darkness, held without weight, and within it, your thoughts drift farther apart, slower, softer, less certain, until they no longer need to form fully, no longer need to finish, no longer need to become anything clear. A thought begins and fades, another comes closer and softens before it reaches you. Everything is becoming lighter now, lighter in the way that held things become unheld, in the way that effort becomes unnecessary, in the way that wakefulness begins to lose its shape. Your body no longer needs anything from you. It knows how to rest, it knows how to drift, it knows how to grow heavy and soft and still. The night holds that knowing gently, without pressure, without insistence, without asking you to notice. And so you remain, or drift, or simply rest at the edge where one becomes the other. Nothing changes, and yet everything becomes quieter. The lantern glow at the edges becomes softer still. The dark spaces become deeper. Your breath becomes slower. The day becomes farther away, and the need to be anywhere else, or do anything else, or think anything else, fades until it is no longer there at all. Only this remains, this calm, this quiet, this soft and steady feeling of nothing being required, nothing being expected, nothing being asked of you. You could stay here, or sink a little deeper, or let the words fade before they fully arrive. It makes no difference, because rest is already here, sleep is already near, and the night, in all its quiet stillness, is already carrying you, gently, slowly, without effort, into deeper and deeper rest, where nothing needs to follow and nothing needs to remain.